Hey there! Happy Tuesday, February 5th. Brian Mudd, this is my cheat sheet for Tuesday, February 5th. First, I'll start with today's question, cheat sheet Q&A, which comes from a listener who mentioned that with identity protection services, last year, Consumer Reports did a piece panning most identity protection services as having claims that they can't back up, and oftentimes the higher-end plans not being able to truly deliver the services that they say they can, and also using misleading advertisements about the number of identity theft cases there are out there to help sell their product. And a lot of that is true. A lot of that is true. And this individual, because I've been talking about making sure you have a good identity protection plan, and I have for years, wanted to know if he knows I like Consumer Reports, what I had to say about that Consumer Reports piece, and if it really is worthwhile going with a more comprehensive identity protection plan. First, I agree with almost the entire Consumer Reports article. In fact, I'm linking it on my physical cheat sheet so you can hear what Consumer Reports had to say. Among things, they talk about the false advertising campaigns. Well, that's true. If companies are using false information to try to lure you in, that's false information. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with the identity protection service itself, and that's not a reason not to have identity protection. It just is not good business practice. And, I probably wouldn't trust a company that would use false advertising practices to try to lure you in. But, again, not about the identity protection service itself. Another one of the things that Consumer Reports cited in the article is that a lot of times, we think of it as identity protection, meaning that it can be preemptive in problems actually occurring. And they point out that once your information is out there online, it's out there online. And that's true. That's true. When obtaining identity protection service, I don't actually look at it as something that's going to prevent me from ever being able to be compromised. But I want to know if I could potentially be compromised, so I can cut it off at the pass. Think of this as a smoldering fire that's beginning to pop up versus a forest fire. If somebody has your information and is trying to make use of it online, trying to open a new account, trying to do something with your personal information, wouldn't you want to know? Even if they were successful in maybe opening an account or trying to compromise you some way, if you knew as soon as that was happening, you'd be able to take appropriate action, have your identity protection service hopefully take action on your behalf to stop it, to smother that fire before you have a forest fire in your hands and bunches of accounts opened in your name and your information out there for Lord knows what. That becomes a much bigger problem. And so that is chief among the reasons why good identity protection service, I believe, is important. I received a notice just today on a change on a credit matter. Now, it happened to be an account that is joint between Ashley and I. She changed her name because on that one particular account, she still had her maiden name on it. She changed it to her married name now. But it notified me, because I'm on that account, that there was a change on it. Those are things that I like to see. Public records, if anything changes there. Any account that, is pulling credit on you, any company. That's good information. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you the one that I actually use right now. There are so many different services out there. I know it's difficult. And I've used, over the past decade, 3 different services because over the course of time, there have been 3 different ones that I thought were better. At one point, I used Trusted ID. Another time, I used LifeLock. Today, I believe that Identity Guard is the best protection service out there, especially for families, and it's something that I believe in. I've been very happy with the product. And Identity Protection Service, it's not necessarily about keeping you safe from ever having your identity compromised. It's what you do and what happens at that point. And they have a legal service that helps you deal with all of those problems so you aren't on your own and you know up front. So hopefully that helps addressing today's question. Now, let me give you an updated cost of college and why you might want to reevaluate the sticker price. Just like a car, if you go and negotiate on a car, you're not going to take a look at the sticker price necessarily and say that's going to be the final price they pay. A lot of times we make that mistake when evaluating higher education. For example, we have an updated report of what the average higher education cost with a public school and a private school in the U.S. With a public school, the average is just over $19,000. With a private school, it's about $52,000 per year this year. However, what are people really paying? Well, with public education, the average person is actually paying about $13,000 per year, and just about $25,000 per year with private education. So what happens is a lot of scholarships and grants that are available knock down the price of higher education. When you're evaluating schools, look to see what the average student at that school is paying, not necessarily what the sticker is, because it might be a much better deal than you actually think. There might be programs available to help you knock down the price. Plenty more in the physical cheat sheet today, including the biggest winner during the Super Bowl. It was Twitter. They never paid for advertising, but they were mentioned in about half the Super Bowl ads. More on the physical cheat sheet. Enjoy yours, and we shall see you tomorrow.